Basically, it's short history. Basically, I just put like random keys on the keyboard, and that's the name. But then I realized that my name means vengeuR in English. I'm from Italy. I started with Quake Live back then, and then I made the switch to Quake Champions. Yeah, so I'm playing from already like 6-7 years Quake franchise. I just played for fun, because I was not good enough to be in the competitive scene, so yeah. I got top 5 in DreamHack Winter, in TDM, then top 5 in Italy, and then top 1 in Quakecon maybe now. I love to play Clutch. When it was good in Meet, it was really fun to play. I also love to play vengeuR, Doom and Nyx, so one of these. I'm just giving anyone the same respect, so I don't underestimate anyone, and that's it. I really don't have an opponent I want to play. So since I will play anyone anyway, I'm just looking forward to it.
Actually, my nickname story is a little bit like this. Nosfa is actually the nickname of my nickname. Like my real nickname is like Nosferatus, which is a vampire. Like I think it was like 2003 or 2004. There's like a novel going on in Brazil, which was called O Beijo do Vampiro, which in English means like the vampire's kiss. And there's like a Nosferatus character in that novel. So yeah, this is pretty much it. I've been born in south of Brazil, in a city called Florianópolis. The first Quake game I ever touched it was Quake World. Many years ago. I was like probably 8 years old. I would sneak into my brother's PC and try to play it with some. My favorite champion in Quake Champions is, that question is kind of hard, but I would have to say rangeuR, because I don't know, you can jump all over the place and make like cool and silly plays, you know what I mean? So I like rangeuR. I already played a few names that I always wanted to play, for example, RAISY, Tox, but I'm really looking forward to play Rapha and cooler and DaHanG online, because like usually when I play Rapha, I play with like such a high ping because I play from Brazil. So here I will have the opportunity to, you know, measure my performance against him in the same conditions. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. One thing I remember is that I went to my first LAN ever in DreamHack, Winter 2017. And my first LAN, on my first game, I had to play on the stage against Cypher, and I managed to take a map from him. And the guy is such a legend, you know, so yeah, it's something. I lost like the set, but it's something that I'm gonna remember for the rest of my life for sure.
My name is vengeuR, and I go with alias toxjq. It started with me coming up with the nickname Toxic in the beginning. I guess I picked a cool nick when I was a young kid. And to make it a bit more special, I just took the Tox, and the JQ stands for my initial, which is vengeuR, to make it more personal. I'm from Sweden, and I'm born and live in Norrköping. I think I started playing in 1996. My brother showed me Quake 1, and that was how my story began. For me, what was the impressive part about Quake was that it was the first multiplayer game, and I really felt like it was really amazing being able to play against your friends and not only play against the computer or single player. After finishing with Quake 3 and the release of Quake 4, I decided to play for a full-time job during the first year of Quake 4. So I knew that I had a good opportunity to make it as a pro player. So I think the time and effort was a big part of it. I'm pretty satisfied with how I was playing. I was a bit upset about my loss to Xron. I think I played a good game, like it felt good, and I was aiming good, but I couldn't really get a break, I guess. Like no matter how much I was hitting, I couldn't really get a clean frag, and it was a close game, but of course you're always a little bit disappointed when you lose, but it started to go better and better throughout the day. I prefer playing Slash, even though I have always felt like you really need to be playing her well, because if you just make a small mistake, you can end up paying a lot of death by it. But when you have a good game with Slash, I think it's the most enjoyable because you can move around very smoothly and you are not so restricted by movement.
The name psygib, what it means to me, it's like when I was young, I loved frag movies and Quake 3. And there was one in particular that I really loved called 3, unfortunately. It's hard to find on YouTube all the time. But anyway, in the frag movie, there's a song called psygib, and it just, when I think of that, I always think just that frag movie and like how I felt about it. So it's stuck with me forever. That's my favorite song. I'm from Stockton, California. The first introduction to Quake franchise was through my dad playing Quake 3 with him when I was 4 or 5 little, so I've been playing ever since. My motivation to be the best is just, I want to do what I can and like enjoy this, and I just love competing. It's my favorite thing to do in life right now, and I don't ever want to stop. I guess the best achievement I can say is probably beating DaHanG in the Quake Open League. And it was, you know, best of 5, it was tough. My favorite champion is vengeuR because I actually played Quake 3, the demo version. There was only two characters. It was vengeuR and Sarge, and I just loved vengeuR, and I've actually been playing him ever since then. In Quake 3, Quake Live, and now Quake Champion, so it's kind of fortunate.
Меня зовут Шурик. Мой никнейм Base, это сокращенно от Basic. Я из села под названием Ногинск. Локальные турниры топ-1 по России, а международные топ-5 на 2 на 2. Я пил ряженку и увидел на канале НТВ ролик про Untitled. Мне начали заговаривать зубы близкие по городу игроки. То, что в этой игре есть все самое необходимое для того, чтобы получить кайф. Мужчина так устроен, то, что в нем живет лев. И в игроках это проявляется в виде реализации на турнирах в Quake. Наверное, самый тяжелый для меня оппонент — это мое психологическое состояние. Мне очень понравилось, кстати, как описали как раз, когда, био, когда подписывали на сайтах. Ну, вот как раз очень подходит под меня. Мистер Карате очень подходит, да. Мне понравился килл, и потому что я за него раньше не играл. Сейчас для меня Quake обновился, как будто я играю в новую игру. Я люблю 2 карты. Я не могу их разделять. Ну, то есть, как маму и папу. Это Авокин, и папа — это Бладран. И любимое оружие. Мне больше всего нравится шафт.
My name is Maciej Krzyzkowski. My nickname is Avek, and it's a shortcut from Avatar, I guess, and it was picked up randomly in the dictionary in internet cafe like 18 years ago or something like this, like 15 maybe. I'm living in Poland since I'm born, and I'm not planning on moving to, even though I like US and stuff. I'm just like love Poland too much. I'm gonna stay there forever. I was really young and I did a lot of sport back then. I was playing soccer, football, and that was the times when PCs started to come up to Poland, and we had like big invasion of like internet clubs, cafes. Once I went there with my neighbor, and we, like back then you could only play like few games. Like you could choose like between Quake, Counter-Strike, and Warcraft or Starcraft. I don't even remember, but I know that all of the guys in that internet club, they all played Quake 3 back then, and I decided that I want to also play Quake 3 because the coolest guys played that game, so I was like, I need to beat them. I think winning like my first CSWC in 2007, I was 16, I became the youngest world champion in Quake. I've beaten cooler, which I really wanted to do back then, because he was like, that was the time when he was like winning a lot of tournaments. And in general, ESWC like back then was like a big name in esport, and everybody dreamed to win it, not only in all the games and in all the among the all the other tournaments. Even though I'm 28, I still feel like I'm 16 again, and still I have this desire to win and to compete, and the Quake is the game I chosen, and I'm just like I just stick to it, and I still like it, and I still think it's like really difficult FPS game. So I'm glad to play the game and still compete, and I hope I can compete for many more years. I think I can play all maps like in the same way and on same level. It's just like if I do mistakes on one map, it doesn't mean it's my worst map or the best map. The most important in this game is like your state of the mind. I think it can either overcome your own skills. You can like have a bad day with your like aiming and with your like way of playing, but still, if you have like right mindset, if you believe in a win, if you're not feeding, if you're not giving up, and you're there to fight, I think that's the most important.
My name is vengeuR Haruk. I play video games under nickname Xron, and I picked this nickname just because I heard that name in Russian language and I liked it. I'm from Ukraine, from city Lviv, winning Quakecon in 2017 in Sacrifice. It was like biggest Quakecon, and it was like in new game back then, Quake Champions, and it was like big moment for me. Like it was first time traveling to USA, winning tournaments, so it was a lot of fun. I'm originally CS player, and mostly I played CS 1.6 back in the day, but at some point I just wanted to play alone in some game just because my teammates were not ready to play or something. So I started to look for games where you can play 1v1, and back then it was Quake Live, around like 2011 I think. So I just registered back on that on site, quakelive.com, and just started to play in my free time, and I like the game. It was very fast-paced, and initially I was struggling a lot in duel because as a newer player you just usually compete versus most experienced players, and it's really tough. But as soon as I started to play team modes, I started to play more, I started to enjoy it, and I started to play more and more. I think it's like I can do anything, but like just depends on the day. On a good day I can play like super aggressive, do whatever I want. On a bad day I'm trying to play passive, like see whatever works for me, and like I'm just trying to play reactive and react on situation or whatever happening on the map. My favorite champion right now is vengeuR. Usually I'm mostly using railgun, and I think honestly it's like my favorite weapon, but I think depends on the day. Sometimes I just like enjoy using a lot of tribal nailgun, but usually I always try to use some like non-standard, I would say, weapon picks, because I like to use more heavy machine gun, more tribals than other players, I think. Usually on practice I draft champions based on what I want to practice, and here on tournament I draft champions on what I think gonna work the best, so I hope. But I think every player has the same approach in practice, that they mostly practicing champions, they're not taking it like 100% serious. He's a lot more patient than me, and like I'm kind of trying to develop this patience over tournament for myself, because I'm also feeling a bit uncomfortable in duel sometimes, because I'm coming from team modes where you don't play so patient. And right now in duel I'm trying to adjust to kind of new style for me, and I don't know, hope it's gonna work.
The origin of my name is just like the word dang, like you say dang, and then there's an H for added emphasis. Originally from Lake Worth, Florida, which is in southern Florida, but I've been in Orlando, the Central Florida area, for the past 10 years. The first time I played Quake was like in 2000 or 2001. Started playing Quake 2 with a bunch of friends in middle school, and even on 56K, it was quite addicting. My favorite champion is Slash, because of the crouch sliding, obviously. That's the main reason. What's driving me is just I feel like whatever you pursue in life, you should try to do it very well. Because there are more Quake tournaments, I want to compete, and I don't want to just like linger, be like a solid player. I want to try to be the best and would apply to anything that I'm doing. My favorite memory was when coolerr had to play me. Back then, you actually played for 5th/6th because you get an extra like $500 or whatever it was. We agreed to like a time at like, I don't know, noon or something. I waited until like 2 and I was like, all right, I think I'm leaving now. Like, you're not here, coolerr. So I left and traveled back to the hotel, and sudden coolerr shows up at like 4 p.m. and tells Chance, who was there, Chance, call DaHanG. And he wants me to go all the way back, and I said, no, thank you. So I got the forfeit win.
The origin of my name is actually a little bit of a silly one, because back at the time when I came up with it, my English wasn't as good, so I misheard crazy from a video game. And because there's a character that has like a battle cry that says crazy, and I just took RAISY out of it. I am from Hungary. When I was 3 years old, I was introduced to Quake 3 Arena by my dad, and I played against bots for a few years for fun, and I liked it. It was action-packed and it was gory, and lots of weapons, shooting. I loved it. And then I started playing Counter-Strike, and I started competing in it, but I wasn't like, I couldn't make it to the professional level. I was only semi-professional. And meanwhile, Quake Live came out, and I started playing it on a hobby-like level for fun, alongside Counter-Strike. And when I heard that they are coming out with the new Quake Champions game, I tried it out, and I realized that I want to compete in it, because I started playing against really decent players and I was having really good results. So I gave it a try. I started competing in like online tournaments like 125 FPS Cups and some other events, and I qualified myself to Quakecon 2017, and ever since then I'm a competitive Quake player, and I left behind CS. My first really big win in Quake Champions was 2017's DreamHack Denver, which I managed to win. And then after that I was third place at ESWC. I was third to fourth place in the dual show match last year at Quakecon in 2018. And after that I was second at ESWC 2018, and I won the Italian esports in Lucca. The stronger the opponent, the more intense the match is gonna be. So I wanna play my best, and I wanna have really good results against the best players here. My favorite champion is solarlek to this day still. I gave the same answer 2 years ago at Quakecon as well. I just love the way she can move so fast. It's kind of like bunny hopping in CS, which I used to do back in the day, and meanwhile you can also shoot at people, so it's fun. The way I approach this is that I try to keep bettering myself in every way as I can, as in improve. And when I realize that I'm bad at certain aspects of the game, like for example timing the items, I focus on it until I'm satisfied with the results. And then I just find something else that I want to be better at.
I actually had a different name. At the start, I used to go by Scar or Scarface because I have one on my face, but then people were associating it so much with Tony Montana and the movie Scarface, and there were so many people that had the same name, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna change my name and I'm gonna change it to something more positive. And at the time, I just found like rapha comes from the Bible, and it just translates to healer, like as in God my healer, that's it. And I liked how it sounded, and it had a positive meaning, and it was short, simple. And so, yeah, I just changed to that back in like 2006, I think, and I'm stuck with it ever since. The first Quake I played, my dad introduced me to Quake 2. I never played Quake 1 as a kid. He kind of like skipped Quake 1. He played Doom, and then once he found out that you could play Quake online at the time, he built his own machine, and Quake 2 is where it started. So I loved the single player in Quake 2, and then when he would share the computer sometimes, then I would try to play Weapons Factory was a mod, and Lithium CTF, which had grappling hooks, stuff like that. I loved playing that, but then once Quake 3 came out, I was sold. My first Quakecon in 2009, because my dad introducing me to Quake and taking me to Quakecon when I was younger, really meant a lot. And then the next one would probably be, I guess you just sum it up, both IEMs. Like the fact that we had to go through a world tour and to qualify, and then just how difficult it was, and the epic finals between myself and cooler back to back, you know. I was just really, really happy because I had a feeling that Quake Live wasn't going to be at IEM the next year, and the fact that I won the only 2 tournaments for that always is pretty special to me. And then probably the PGL win because of the struggle with myself as far as like consistency goes in duel for Quake Champions for the first like year and a half, and just finally just everything just clicking and just working my way through that, and finally getting that win. And I had to play so many good people there. Like my playoff bracket was Sirius, Claus, and Cooler, like and at the time those 3 were probably the 3 other strongest players like that I could have faced. So yeah, it's always going to be really special to me. Other than that, just yeah, I'm just hoping to make it to the finals, you know, and then whoever's there, it'd be great to play whoever, because we're all in really good shape right now.
I'm Anton Singov, much known as Coolers, and I am representing AMD. When you set your mind to get any success, it doesn't really mean you have to do nothing. Every time you have to work so hard. Even if you are thinking about, you have to think hard, analyze hard, and training hard, prepare hard, even trust hard. I really feel bad when I'm not on top, but at the same time, I don't really like to be like super ego, I mean on view. So I try my best to just stay a normal person, but be on the top at the same time. We've got so many good players here, so I'm not expecting to get any like free games anyways. But I think Europeans would be toughest for me. Thank you very much for everything you made for us. Thank you for, yeah, a big deal, to be honest. Thank you for doing hard work for Quake community and for me especially. It's really nice to know you and to be known by you at the same time.
I'm Master Paul from Germany, and yeah, my alias is Kilson, playing for DaHanG Big Berlin International Gaming, and yeah, I've been competing in Quake since felt-wise forever. First event 2004 in Paris, and yeah, that's where I smelled blood and kept doing it. My greatest achievement, I think, is winning the IEM 2010 Cologne, where I faced Rapha in the grand final, and being, you know, playing in front of 2,000 people sitting there cheering you up. The feeling was just awesome, and I'll never forget about that moment. The most excited to play, actually there is no one where I'm really excited about to play, because you have to play everyone anyways, and you got to give your best, you know, at any time. It doesn't matter what champion lineup is coming, what map it is going to be. You just have to try your best every single game, and yeah, it doesn't matter. Skill is pretty close overall, especially for the Europe scene. And yeah, that makes it kind of tough to really have like this special opponent. I like playing some guys, for example Avec, Xron, but it's not like that I'm excited to play them. It's a tough one anyways. My favorite champion, I can't even say like I have a super favorite champion. I mean, I tend to go for yeah, Nyx more often than other champions, but it also depends very much what my opponent is going to play and on which map we are actually sitting. I feel like Galina has overall a slight edge compared to other champions, and there's only like one map where she's kinda can get thrown off. But yeah, besides that, you just gotta be careful about Galina pick. Always very dangerous because of the totems. But beside that, there's, yeah, I mean, many champions possible right now, especially with the ban system.